students, Aven. Aven, how are we, my man? You okay?
I'm doing great, Zub. I'm doing great, brother. How about yourself?
Good. Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. So, essentially, Aven has been with Plan Capital for the last 7 to 8 months now, and his journey has been very, very progressive, but also impressive at the same time. So, to give you guys, well, in fact, I was about to give context on your current situation, but Aven, do you want to give it yourself? So, give an introduction in terms of who you are, what's your current situation, and yeah, and what revenue are you hitting at the moment?
So my name is Aven Tedros, based near the DC area.
Yep.
Joined Climate Capital, met Dan and Zub. I run an email marketing agency, versatile in different niches, but have been in the pet care niche. Currently making 8K a month.
8K a month. Wow. Okay, so that's crazy. So if $8,000 a month, Aven is 19 years old and he does email marketing for pet stores. So that's very impressive. And what has that money allowed you to do, bro? Because I know me and you have spoken recently. And yeah, do you want to tell everyone the good news?
Yes, sir. That money has allowed me to leave my job. I was a manager at the store that I used to work at. I've been able to help pay rent for my parents. I've been able to reinvest my money back into my business to make me more money that I've seen return on investments on, just in terms of different softwares, delegating tasks, etc. Making sure that while I am youthful, I still have the opportunity to take advantage of the money I've already earned.
Exactly. My guy. So that's very impressive, right? At 19 years old, he's been able to help his mum and dad out with the rent, and he's also managed to quit his job recently. So hopefully next month you can hit 10K a month, you know?
That's the goal, brother. That's the goal.
So talk to us a little bit about your story. So what made you want to get into the agency game?
Well, before I met Dan and Zub, I was someone in college, still currently am, but I really thought to myself that I wanted a more free path when it comes to control over my own income.
Yeah.
Making sure that entrepreneurship was something that I understood was a great task at hand, just in terms of the success rate with different people, people quitting, not understanding what's in front of them. I wanted to make sure that I was in control of my own money and I was able to learn high income skills to not only relieve my own problems, but to be a helping hand to other people, which in return has helped me back a lot.
Do you know what as well? That just made me think of something, right? Aven, for you guys that are watching, is a very, very naturally good copywriter, right? And he has used his skill sets to be able to generate a lot of revenue online. Now, for some of you guys watching this, maybe the agency game isn't for you, and maybe your sales ability isn't the best, or it's not something you guys like. So I look at using different online money making methods, but you really need to evaluate where your current skill sets are. What are you good at? What do you like doing? And then formulate a plan based off of that. And I think that's why Avon's been so successful. So Avon realized he was really good at copy. And he came to me and me and Dan helped him on the sales side of things. So actually being able to book meetings and then obviously being able to close those meetings as well. And yeah, together I think we've managed to. Well, it's all down to you. You managed to make your agency steamroll ahead. Now, what do you think was the biggest, I guess, turning point in your agency? Because it was obviously a few months of quietness, and then all of a sudden it started scaling up. And why do you think that is?
It really came down to me having the actions compound over time when it came to my multi-channel sequence, right? Making sure I had different sequences to fall back on, making sure that I was refining my old techniques. Guys, I would go 60 to 70 dials without getting a single disco booked back in the day. And I realized that it was my own approach that wasn't working instead of the source. The sources I've used have worked. It was about me refining my own skills and techniques.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of research, a lot of tough criticism, but it allowed me to shape me into a better salesman, number one, and also refine my own copy, which is really great as well. And I was able to get my agency in front of the right eyes just with refining my techniques. Those little tweaks can make the biggest difference.
Yeah, very true, right? Very, very true. So, do you want to give them a little bit of context in terms of, I guess, the journey, so the timeline? Does that make sense?
Right.
So, obviously, like I said, the first few months was a little bit quiet, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden it seemed, well, you actually signed 3 clients in 1 week as well, which is crazy. So, yeah, do you want to give?
Yes, sir. So ultimately, I began my journey late September. Met Dan and Zub through the CCN with the people I've been able to meet. and it was really stagnant for a few months. I had tried different methods with some things not yielding the results I wanted them to. Obviously, it was up to me in refining my own skills and techniques. So September, October, November, pretty dry months of 2023, just trying to make sure I had my first discovery call booked in October, but it was about the small wins that I catered to. And I realized that this was meant for me if I just stayed in the same game, if I kept watering the same plant. I ended up getting my first testimonial back in December and ended up using that as a big catering point for my agency because I could now leverage that for my own skills, which allowed me to sign my first ever client back in January of 2024, January 2nd to be exact. And even though the fee was not as much as I charge now, it let me know that things were possible. If I could charge X amount, who says I can't charge more later on? The
Mm.
higher and higher I climb and the more I scale. From then on, even February, March, balancing school, balancing the job, balancing family life as well, the
Mm.
agency game, trying to build it from the ground up. It took a toll on me, and it was something that made me stronger. And it's something that I don't regret doing because now I've seen the results from it, of course. But I ended up learning high income skills just with sales, marketing, and then the copywriting, of course. And things really started to pick up around May. I started
Mm.
doing more meetings, more and more clients closed, demos, etc., helping me to get where I am today.
You know, there's so many talking points just based off of what you said there, right? So number one, you started your agency at the end of September, so let's say October, right? And it
Right.
took you until January to sign your first client. That's 3 months. Now, a lot of people would have given up by the 3 months, right? And like you said such a good phrase that the water is greener where you water. No, the grass is greener where you water, and it's so
That's right.
true. It's so true. And I think credit to you. What makes you, well, what has made you quite successful in the agency game is your ability to be able to be disciplined and stick to one thing and stay motivated even though the agency game can be very unstable and you're not getting clients on a weekly basis. So really well done, bro. Really well done. So what do you think I'm actually really interested to know this. What do you think is from me and Dan, what is the best piece of advice that we've given you?
It's a really good question. The best piece of advice, could it be either one of you or just both of you collectively?
Either of us, just in
Okay.
general.
In general, I would say sounding less salesy when I speak. That was the main thing. I mentioned I would do 60, 70 dials, not get a single discovery call. I sounded like everybody else. And when you're full of copycats in this niche, in this game, you're not going to stand out. You're going to get covered in the grass. People are going to walk right over you. And
Yeah.
with me, I realized that it was the way I spoke, it was the way I articulated myself, trying to come off as not someone who's money hungry, but someone who's authentic, maybe a friend trying to offer X to them in return so they can get their value that they're looking for. Just sounding less salesy has been the biggest key for me because people tend to open up and let their guard down more. And then if you actually have the value that you could give to them, well, they're already going to be more receptive of you because you're coming off as a friend. The biggest piece of advice. Thank you guys.
I really like that. I really like that. I really like that. And what about in networking groups? Obviously, you've been in a networking group since December. How have you found that being able to be surrounded by other entrepreneurs on their journey, starting their agency? How has that been in terms of usefulness for you and your success?
It's been extremely useful being surrounded with like-minded people in my area, people I can talk to with them only being one call or text away. Us being really like-minded is key because we both understand each other's journey. No matter what skill it is, we understand that this game can be cruel and rough. We're able to be there for each other, ask each other questions, help each other out. There is no animosity or ill will because there's enough money for all of us out to eat. And that's
Mm,
a fact. And that's the way I've seen it. That's why I've been really authentic with the people I've met, and they've shown that same sort of love back. So just building my network full of people who can be not only of use later, but friends, for beyond, with life as well, has really been cruel. It's really been key to me.
good, good. And who are you closest to inside the network?
That's a funny question, but I would say some Sam, really cool dude. Matia, of course.
Yeah,
There's Joe, a bunch of other people as well, and Vidora. So many
yeah.
people to shout out, but of
I
course, I
think
keep guys.
in my in my opinion, like one of the best parts about the networking group, right, is there is someone that can answer any question you have, right? Whether it be for GHL or for email marketing or for this or for that, there's always someone that can help you with something. So I think one of the things you've done really well is network with many people inside the group, message them and get on calls with them. And I know that a lot of the email marketing guys actually come to you for advice now because you are doing so well. And I'm sure you've experienced that because they've told me they've been doing that. But also, one thing I wanted to talk about, right, is a lot of people would think targeting pet stores is such a really weird niche and like it's something they would never think of. But realistically, that's where the money is, right? The money is in the niches, the niches that no one really thinks about. And I think that's why another factor as to why you've done so well. You've decided on a niche that you thought, okay, this is a little bit unique. There's not many people targeting it, so let me go and try target it. Yeah. So from your clients at the moment, we pet stores wise, is it just stores in general, or is it more like online pet stores?
So it's been a mix of both online pet stores, in-person ones, and even dog trainers, right?
Mhm.
People who are able to cater to others in the pet care niche regarding care, training, products, etc. Being really versatile within that niche, it's been good to me because I was knowledgeable in it even before I started my journey. But I
Yeah.
also had a keen eye for making copy have more emotions evoked and making sure that they are more in tune with what they're reading as
Mm.
opposed to things like other copy that we both receive where you can tell it's super salesy, you can tell it's written quick, the sentence structure is off. They aren't as technical as I am. And I saw what they were lacking. I added it to my bag and I started seeing more and more wins come from there in that specific niche.
Good man. So right, so that just shows that your ability to be able to spot those things is all credit down to you. Now, outreach wise, it's just a question that I'm quite interested to know. How much did you know about trying to get clients before you did speak to me and Dan?
I didn't have a strong expertise in it, I won't lie. My
Hmm.
goal was to build a personal brand before I'd met you guys. So
Yeah.
I was prevalent on sites like LinkedIn, X, still prevalent on both of those, even Instagram a little bit, but I was not taking the right action steps for outreach as I should have before I met you guys, just in terms of not only having a multi-channel sequence, but also knowing how to give value, knowing how to make a good first impression. Having these things come and cater together has been huge for me because it was also a huge piece I was lacking before I had met you guys.
Yeah. Do you know what? Again, such a good talking point. I feel like a lot of people, when they first start their agency, they think, oh, I'm going to grow a personal brand or I'm going to run ads and try to get inbound sales. And that's just really not the right route to go down. What you need to be doing is implementing outbound channels. So Aven does LinkedIn outreach, email marketing, and cold calling. So he implements all three channels, and that's exactly what we teach. What's your most successful outreach channel at the moment?
It's been cold calling. Although
Cold.
I have seen it flip flop. Last month it was LinkedIn. This month it was cold calling. I'm gonna let the rest of the month play out, but I'm going hard with each and every single one of them because each and every single method I use has been useful for me in my journey. Email marketing, smart leads, cold calling, LinkedIn DMs. Even before I met you guys, I've tried Instagram DMs and other platforms, but having the big three that I do now has been key to lift the outreach weight off of my shoulders. And
Yeah.
then, as more and more revenue starts collecting, you start delegating more tasks to people you trust, you teach them the right way, and you start managing. So it's been really great.
Exactly. See, look, one of the things we teach aside client capital guys is the more doors you knock on, the more answers you're gonna get. And again, that's another reason why Evan's done so well. He has knocked on a shitload of doors. But cool. Well, I won't keep you for too much longer, Evan. So just one last question from me. What are your goals for 6 months' time?
6 months time, I'm looking to start building a team around me. I'm looking to start managing a team. I'm looking to lift some of the old agency tasks and weight off of my shoulders, delegate those, and teach others the
Mm.
way that I've done to be successful, so they can take care of it for me.
Yeah,
And revenue wise, really looking to hit that 12, 13K month
nice.
number within the next 5 to 6 months, of course. And as I delegate tasks, as I start learning more and more new information, because the learning journey never stops, right? Just trying to make sure I'm always up to date on what's in front of me when it comes to not only my skills, but what's going on in the agency game today. making sure that I'm able to lift the weight off of my shoulders in terms of the tasks I used to do, and start scaling from there, start managing, start closing, and taking care of business.
Perfect. And obviously, we will be here to help. I actually do want to mention one last thing before we go, because
Right.
it actually just came to my head. I think one of the reasons why you've been so successful is you charge quite a high ticket. So you got 5 clients at the moment, don't you, for that $8,000 a month? Am I right in saying that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's like what, three $2,000 a month retainers and two $1,000 a month retainers. Now, this is something we teach inside Client Capital, right? Being able to transition to higher ticket offerings. I feel like too many people are scared with their pricing, and this is all credit down to, well, this is all credit down to Aven, because he was never like that at the beginning. He always just went and started pitching 4-figure retainers, whereas I feel like a lot of people, they're scared to do that. And what we actually end up doing is pitching $500, $600 when realistically they could have actually closed that client for a little bit more. So yeah, well done, Aven. But fantastic. Well, we'll leave it